quite an honor to be inducted to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And the young lady here with the Tech blue on, I'm glad to see that. Been there for 45 years, and it's always great to see Tech fans wherever I go on the road. But it is quite an honor to be here and be inducted into this elite group. And I remember back in, I guess it was May or April, we were down here to play Northwestern in baseball, and I asked Doug to take me through the Hall of Fame. And he took me around here and he showed me all the pictures of everybody that's in the Hall of Fame. And I looked at Doug and I said, and they put me in here with these people? I said, my gosh, you know, that's just unreal. But it is quite an honor, not only for me, but my family, for being broadcasting, going on 45 years at Louisiana Tech and doing minor league baseball on top of that for 36 years. So it's beating work for a living. It's like Timothy said, you know, every day you go to a game, it's something different, and it's a lot of fun to do. My dad worked in the steel mills for 35 years back in West Virginia, and I knew growing up I wasn't going to do that. I didn't know what I was going to do, but it wasn't going to be working in the steel mills. And so here I am, actually been in broadcasting now for 58 years, and at Louisiana Tech for 44 going on 45. So this is quite an honor for me.
So Dave, 45 years, lots of quarterbacks at Louisiana Tech. One is here today, Matty Dunnigan. Where does he rank?
He ranks up there about right behind me. No, it's kind of interesting because Matt and I went into the Louisiana Tech Athletic Hall of Fame the same day. Now he and I are going into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame the same day. Now he's got one up on me, maybe two or three. I know he's been in the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame, and I told him, I said, I don't think I'll be in that one. But he was quite a quarterback. You know, nowadays they look for the big guys, 6'2", 6'3". Matt wasn't that big, but he got the job done, and it's been a great career in the Canadian Football League. When I'd go to Winnipeg to do minor league baseball, and they found out that I broadcast Louisiana Tech, first thing I wanted to know, what about Matt Dunnigan? What kind of a guy is he? And every time I'd go to Winnipeg, they always wanted to talk about Matt Dunnigan. And so he is a hero north of the border, that's for sure.
Well, who are some of the other Louisiana Tech football players? You just got to focus on one sport, who jump out at you that you've enjoyed calling their games.
Well, you had Willie Roaf, who's in the NFL Hall of Fame. You have Fred Dean, who's also in the NFL Hall of Fame. I wasn't there when Terry Bradshaw played. I came right after him. But, three guys from Louisiana Tech in the NFL Hall of Fame is quite a big deal for, basically a mid-major school. But there have been some great players that have come through. And in basketball, of course, we had Carl Malone, the mailman, P.J. Brown, also I'm trying to think of the guy, Paul Millsap, I guess was with Denver now, who led the nation in rebounding 3 consecutive years. Somebody asked me, said, how did he lead the nation in rebounding 3 consecutive years? I said, well, we had a poor shooting team, and there was a lot of opportunities to get rebounds.
Speaking of rebounding, Louisiana Tech is probably best known, with all those great athletes you just mentioned, for its women's basketball program. And the cornerstone of that is Leon Barmore, the great coach who's in the Basketball Hall of Fame and this Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Now, I've heard stories about pickup basketball games back in the day when Leon played college basketball at Tech and you played college basketball up north in West Virginia. Sometimes got heated, huh? It got very heated. Matter of fact, one quick story. We were playing in, Lady Texters were playing at Pauley Pavilion out at UCLA. So after practice one day, Leon said, hey, let's play a little one-on-one. I said, okay. So we did. And I beat him in the first game. Well, it went from game 1. He said, let's play the best 2 out of 3. So the next game, he beat me. He said, okay, we come down to the 3rd game. I beat him in the 3rd game. To this day, he won't live that down. I beat Leon Barmore in a
basketball game, and he was a pretty darn good basketball player. I wasn't around when he played, but I've heard enough stories about him.
Okay, you still are doing this 45 years. Why? People retire. You're not.
Well, I'm not retired. I'm retarded, I think.
Okay.
Just keep doing it. I've enjoyed doing it, and it's kind of like Philip said, it's not like going to work every day. Going to a basketball or football or baseball game, it's just like it's another game. And people say, well, I've seen everything in one of those sports. And I said, you haven't seen everything, and you'll go to a ballpark and you'll see something that night that you probably have never seen before. For example, a few years ago in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I did baseball for Sioux City, Iowa. And we had a play at home plate, and they had a squeezed bunt, and they called a balk on the catcher. And I looked at everybody. I said, a balk on a catcher? How in the world did that happen? And I started looking through the rule book, and there was other people in the press box. And what happens, the catcher has that position behind home plate, behind the two batters box. And on an intentional walk, if he steps outside that catcher's box before the pitcher releases the pitch, that is called a catcher's balk. The run scored, and we got beat by 1 run. I'd never seen it before, haven't seen it since.
Glad you were there to explain it, that's for sure. Well, you have a trademark phrase that you use when there's a great play, usually a scoring play in football, for example, that happens for Tech. I think it fits here today.
You got to love it.
And you got to love it.
People ask me how it got started. I don't know. I mean, it's just something that came out one time, and I just kept doing it. And I'll have people after a game, maybe a good Tech win or whatever, and they'll come up to me, well, how many times did you say you got to love it today? And I said, I don't know. I don't keep count of that. It just happens when something good happens.
Well, something good is happening this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Nitz.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.